Chiefs Kingdom, it is mailbag time here on the Chiefs Report. I'm Harrison Graham. We've got a bunch of awesome questions that we're going to answer, so stay tuned for that. But first, a little challenge for you guys. Our record in June last month for most comments on a video was 170. I know there's more than 170 people that are going to watch this episode, so just type KC or Chiefs or Mahomes is the GOAT. I don't care. Let's top 170 comments on today's video. Another thing you can do is ask a mailbag question for a future episode. So let's get the comment section flowing on today's show and dive into this mailbag. First up is Kay Inkenbrook saying, which team in the AFC do you feel poses the biggest threat to the Chiefs this season? Look, I think if we're being fair and objective, you still have to say the Bengals are that team. Because Joe Burrow, when healthy, has beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 times. Now, there have been some wonky games. The Chiefs have done some weird things in those games. But it's fair to say, if Burrow's healthy, I would say Cincinnati. Although I'd say it somewhat blindly. I think they're in a weird spot right now. But I would put them 1. I'd go Baltimore 2. The Chiefs match up really well with the Ravens. And last year was easily Baltimore's best chance to beat Kansas City in a playoff game. I thought they were a better team overall than Kansas City last year. They were at home, and Lamar kind of shit the bed, if we're being completely honest. But they're still loaded. They're a threat, no question about it. And then I kind of debated who would I go next. I think I'd go the Houston Texans. If they take another step forward, CJ Stroud might kind of put himself in that top 5, top 6 QB in the NFL discussion. D'Amico's got those boys playing defense. They traded for Stephon Diggs, so they've got loaded pieces on offense. I'll throw one dark horse at you in the division, the Chargers. I don't think they're a threat to beat the Chiefs in the division to win the AFC West, but Jim Harbaugh is just a hell of a football coach. Like, if anyone's going to maximize what Justin Herbert can do and win games at a high level for that franchise, it's probably Harbaugh. So maybe this year they're not a huge threat, but I think moving forward they will be. AFC Championship odds here. Chiefs are the favorites at plus 325. Baltimore, Cincinnati. Again, Buffalo, I still think they're going to be a good team, and Josh Allen's always a threat, but the Chiefs have had their numbers. They're kind of in a transition year. They lost a lot of offensive pieces, so still think they're a playoff team. Not sure they're a threat to go to the Super Bowl. And then there are those pesky Texans kind of lurking there as well at plus 800. Maybe you guys feel differently. Who do you think is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC? Take Burrow out of it and the Bengals? I don't see who beats the Chiefs this year. So let us know what you guys think. All right, State Farm Jake, who on this team do you feel is the biggest X factor? Can't include Mahomes or Kelce. Yeah, I mean, when you're that good, you don't really fall into the X factor discussion anyway. I think it's Xavier Worthy. I really do. And, I don't think that's putting unfair pressure on him. I don't think they need him to be great, to be a great team. You got Marquise Brown. That kind of helps you hedge a little bit as well. But if Worthy is what he can be and what we've seen in terms of the early flashes, his ability to stretch the field, if the deep ball truly does return and he's a big part of that, man, this team becomes really hard to defend. Now, it's certainly been up and down early on for Worthy. He missed most of the offseason program with the hamstring injury, but was ready to go at the start of training camp when the rookies reported. Jammed his finger, then he's back dominating, then he gets strep throat, so he's been kind of in and out. If he's healthy and ready to go and an effective deep ball threat, like that just spreads the defense thin more so than the last few years when the Chiefs have kind of had to master the quick passing game. Now that they have, if the vertical passing returns, like we've talked about with him and Marquise Brown, that really makes this team difficult to defend. Who do you think is the Chiefs' biggest X factor for the 2024 season? Let me know. I'll throw one out there. Whoever starts at left tackle. If that's a disaster, that's an X factor in a bad way that you may have to try to figure out by adding another piece. Shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's show. When I am trying to go to a sporting event like a Royals game or check it out, Chiefs preseason action, I know that Game Time is the place to go to. And we got a deal for you. Use code CHATSPORTS when you download the Game Time app to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply there. But listen, the Royals are in the middle of a wild card hunt. Chiefs preseason games are just around the corner. You can get in for a lot cheaper than regular season games. I know not everybody can pay for regular season tickets, so go check them out in the preseason. And what Game Time specializes in is in those last-minute tickets, because day before, day of event, not every ticket has been purchased. That's when you check it out, because they're going to lower those prices for you a lot of the time, and you might get a steal on a deal for a concert or for a game or for some other event that you want to go check out. So go download the app right now. Use code CHATSPORT. It's going to get you $20 off for that first purchase only, and it's a great deal, great opportunity, last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. All right, next up, Enzo85. Is Nikko Remigio a dark horse candidate to make the roster? I feel like he's almost beyond dark horse at this time. We talked about Remigio the other day, by the way. If you subscribe and go to the content tab, you will see this thumbnail. We kind of dove deeper into this, but we'll talk about it a little bit here as well. This is the second straight offseason he's really performed in OTAs, minicamp, training camp. Last year, he got cut with an injury designation, but now he's back and pushing for a roster spot. And with Justin Watson banged up right now, I think he's got a real shot here. Like, I think last year he was a dark horse because he was a rookie UDFA. We kind of know about this kid now. Like, we keep talking about him. You know, Matt Nagy's bringing him up after practice. So, you know, I don't think he's a complete unknown commodity. He's an unknown commodity in terms of can he do damage in the regular season, but if you're a Chiefs fan, you know this guy's name at this point. Here's Nagy talking about him the other day, saying he's a prime example of an undrafted free agent who comes in and is an absolute true professional every day. In the meeting rooms, at practice, it's the same speed and the same mentality. You root for guys like that. Guys like him, they find a role. So that's a pretty strong endorsement of the second-year undrafted receiver out of Fresno State. And listen, I think there's a real shot here. Do you think it's true or false that Remigio makes the roster? T for true, F for false. He's firmly on the bubble, but if he has some strong preseason games, it's going to be tough to push this kid away. Spicy Pico 88, what do you think is going to happen with the stadium rumors? So all kinds of stuff. Kansas City, Kansas making a strong push to get a new stadium there. State of Missouri would like to keep them. There's a lot of politics involved. Look, leaving Arrowhead would certainly be weird, right? I think it's one of the historic venues in the NFL. I think in a perfect world, you could just renovate this stadium and keep the ball rolling there, and I think that is a possibility. But I don't know. These things take a lot of time. Here's Clark Hunt talking about Arrowhead Stadium. He says, over the next several months, coming years, we'll be looking at whether we're better off in a renovated building or in a new stadium. And that new stadium could be on the Missouri side as well. It doesn't have to be on the Kansas side. So he's kind of saying, look, Kansas has gotten momentum, but it's certainly not done. And I think it'd be weird to leave Arrowhead and to leave Kansas City, Missouri. But what do these things always come down to? Money. 2 words. Money. That at the end of the day, that's what these teams care about. It's a business. And if Kansas City, Kansas offers the best opportunity at revenue growth, then that's what they'll do. If staying at Arrowhead and some kind of renovation plan makes the most sense, that's what they'll do. If building a new stadium on the Missouri side of the border makes sense, that's what they're going to do. So I think there's a lot to iron out, a lot of politics to rifle through, and we'll see where it ends up at the end of the day. What do you hope, or what do you want to happen with Arrowhead? You want them to stay there? New stadium? Where are you at with everything? Give us your thoughts on this in the comments. Jerry's daughter. What is your greatest sports memory? # Chiefs. I'll give a Chiefs one here. Then I'll give a little personal one for me. I think that first Super Bowl you know what? Yeah, I'll say this. 2 for the Chiefs. The first Super Bowl comeback, I think it really showed Patrick Mahomes' greatness because he did not play very well in that game for 52 minutes. And then in the final 8 to 10 minutes of that game, he just took over. It started with that 3rd and 15 wasp, that big play, the famous wasp play, 21 unanswered points to put that game on ice to get his first Super Bowl. The great ones find a way, even when they're struggling, and he did that day. And then the 13-second game against Buffalo. Buffalo takes a 3-point lead with 13 seconds left. They go about 40 yards in 2 plays, and Harrison Butker sends it to overtime, and the Chiefs won it in OT. That's 2 remarkable ones. Personal note, watching my alma mater win a college football playoff game, TCU over Michigan a couple years ago. Got spanked in the national title game by Georgia, but getting to go to that, I mean, TCU ain't Alabama kids. Like, I don't know if I'll ever get to go watch my team play for a national championship game again. So that was pretty cool. Beating Michigan was sweet, especially since they won it all the next year. But yeah, a couple on a Chiefs front and a personal front as well. Great question to flip around, though, to you guys. You guys got a favorite sports memory, Chiefs or otherwise? If you do, would love to read through them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chiefs Report. We'll be back for more content, more training camp coverage coming up here on the channel.